Yo, what's up, guys? What a great day it was in the first night of the NFL draft for the Dallas Cowboys, guys. The Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, guys, really hit the jackpot on their first round picks this year, guys. On the 11th overall pick for the Cowboys after trading it with Miami, trading a couple fifth rounders, then trading down a couple picks with the Eagles, of course. I'm going to get into that, obviously, but what a pick the Dallas Cowboys made. Got 11th overall, drafting safety out of Ohio State, Caleb Downs, guys. Just an absolutely spectacular draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys. A 12% chance that Caleb Downs was going to fall to 11th, guys. And the Dallas Cowboys decided we're not going to risk it anymore with the Dolphins, maybe possibly drafting Downs, trading and swapping picks with the Dolphins, of course. Trading the fifths like I just mentioned there, and we got ourselves here probably the smartest player in the NFL draft, if you guys ask me. And by what everyone else is saying, the scouts, the pros, and everything else, Caleb Downs has a high IQ. He can play in the nickel. He can play as a safety. He can blitz. Guys, this guy here is going to be an absolute gem for the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have not had a safety like this since Darren Woodson. So to get a kid like this, who's smart, went to a great collegiate school in Ohio State, won a national championship there last year, was coached under guys like Ryan Day and Nick Saban, of course, both those guys there, sung multiple praises about this kid here, just his attitude, his smarts, like I mentioned, just really, really excited for Caleb Downs to be a Dallas Cowboy. The kid was bloody doing a Rubik's Cube, for God's sakes, on the red carpet, for God's sake. So this kid here, just going to show even more what a smart player this guy is. He's also durable. Now, obviously, there was some news about his knee at the combine. He didn't run at the combine. But other than that, though, guys, you still have to draft a player with the upside, the potential of this guy being one of the best safeties in the game, possibly for a very, very, very long time. I know a lot of people are kicking themselves for their teams not drafting Caleb Downs, especially a division rival, the New York Giants having two top 10 picks and passing on Downs twice. Sure, you drafted Arvo Reese there, and then you drafted the lineman there, but if you guys ask me, I think the Giants maybe will end up coming to regret not drafting a kid like Downs, guys. But listen, Downs has played, guys, I'm reading it here, Downs has played in 44 games. He amassed 257 total tackles, 6 interceptions, and had 16 tackles for losses, guys, in his collegiate career. Really decorated player as well, guys, in his collegiate career. 3 years in college, guys. Won national awards like the Jim Thorpe Award, won the Lot Impact Award in 2025. He was a unanimous first-team All-American in both 2024 and 2025. Had Big Ten honors, guys, as Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Recorded 2 punt return touchdowns in his career, averaging 16 yards per yards, of course, guys, in 2024. So that is great to see, guys, averaging 16 yards on punt returns. So, maybe he could be a threat on punt returns. Who knows about that? Had a massive impact in his freshman year at Alabama, guys. Led the team in tackles with 107. So this kid here, makes an instant impact right away when he came into college, of course. He obviously, like I mentioned, he's obviously went to the one of the best schools in the world, and he can obviously be very versatile in positioning as well, like I mentioned, even though he's not the biggest guy out there. He's 5'11", weighs 206 pounds, but percentile among safeties, guys, he was 10th in arm strength, 13th in wingspan, so those are two really positive things to look at there, guys. He's top 15 in those things there. Now, hand size and height and weight are a little bit lower, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters what those things are with Caleb Downs, guys. He ran a 4.5 at the dash, the 40-yard dash there. Even though he didn't run at the combine like I mentioned there, this kid here is going to be an absolute stud for the defense with the Cowboys, guys. Obviously the defense was horrendous last year, bottom of the league. You added some veteran guys like Thompson from the Buccaneers on a 3-year deal. You signed Kobe Durant, of course, to a 1-year deal as well. So you've obviously improved a little bit with the defense. You have guys like Siobhan Revelle coming back, having a full year under his belt now. Coming into the season will be interesting to see, having a training camp for him, obviously coming off that ACL injury, guys. So this will be his first full season. Last year coming in halfway through the season. This year coming in, will be a full season under training camp. Deron Bland didn't have a great year last year as well. Nobody had a great year under Matt Eberflus. You were asking for a lot to have a good season when you had a DC like Matt Eberflus, guys. Now, you as well have Quinnen Williams coming back for a full season. Kenny Clark's obviously going to be back. You traded Osa Odigizua. You traded for Rashawn Gary. You have Donovan Ezeraku. So you have a lot of guys on defense that are coming back, that are adding to this team. And then after, of course, guys, then you get the pick there at 23, guys. We have Malachi Lawrence that the Dallas Cowboys drafted at 23. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of controversy, of course, with this draft pick. The Cowboys could have drafted Malachi Lawrence at 20, guys. Obviously, that could have been the easiest move to do, is draft Malachi Lawrence at 20. Let Pittsburgh get 21, of course. But Jerry Jones and the Cowboys clearly felt, okay, we traded 2 fifth-rounders in the down straight to move up a pick. Go and see what happens with the Steelers, who they wanted. Clearly, they got some intel that they wanted to draft Malachi Lemon, guys, Makai Lemon. So the Cowboys clearly said to the Eagles, Pittsburgh wants to draft a wide receiver. Give us a couple forts. You guys take this 20th pick. We'll get our guy at 23. And everybody sort of wins, I guess. Even though I don't like that the Dallas Cowboys negotiated with the Eagles. Who knows what's going to happen with this Lemon kid. This guy here could come back to haunt us, but only time will tell what happens with this Lemon kid. But the Cowboys feel they can get Lawrence at 23, get some picks back, after trading the picks for downs. So they decide to make this deal, really pissing off the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, at the end of the day, guys, Cowboys traded a couple picks down, got some extra draft capital, which is obviously great. Can never be against draft capital. Cowboys get their guy at 23 in Lawrence. Do I hate doing the Eagles a favor? 100%. But I have no idea what this Lemon kid is, how good he's going to be in the NFL. Listen, guys, the Eagles with Howie Roseman, he's a smart SOB, one of the best GMs in the league. He may have done a smart move here, but at the end of the day, I am willing to take the risk with the Cowboys and say, fine, you take the draft picks, you get the draft capital, you get your guy at 23, and we'll have to wait and see if Lemon does end up haunting this team or not, guys. But I'm not going to get carried away yet. We'll have to wait and see how the season goes and what this guy does with the Eagles. But it's funny enough that this guy here was on the phone with the Steelers. Then he asked Omar Khan, the GM, why is Philly calling me? Hanging up on the Steelers and then taking the call from the Eagles, getting picked at 20th overall, guys. There was obviously some rumors as well that he had some attitude issues. Some teams didn't like how he represented himself. So, going to be interesting to see what happens with Lemon, guys. Hopefully he doesn't haunt the Cowboys. I'm not going to be worried about that yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But Jerry Jones decided, and the Cowboys brass decided, to get some more draft capital. But this Malachi Lawrence kid, guys, the highest ever defensive draft pick in UCF history. Congrats to him. This guy here had 20 career sacks, guys. He's a really, really nice player. He's a big boy as well. This guy here, is absolutely massive. He's like 6'4", 40 inches is his vertical jump, guys. Second highest among edge rushers, a 40-yard dash of 4.52 seconds, guys. Third fastest among edge rushers. Like, that's really impressive. He had a 1.5 second 10-yard split. He had a 10-10 broad jump. This guy here is really, really athletic. Played 39 games for UCF. I really like this draft pick by the Cowboys, guys. He had an 80.1 overall defensive grade, 89.5 pass rushing grade, 40 pressure, 7 sacks, 30 hurries, and 3 hits, and had a run defense grade of 66.2, guys. We all know how badly the Cowboys needed linemen, edge rushers, guys. We desperately knew this team here had problems sacking the quarterback last year after trading Micah Parsons, of course. You knew the Cowboys had to prioritize defense. They did a great job in this first round, getting a safety and an edge rusher here. I think Lawrence, another Lawrence, ironically enough, as well. Who knows, maybe he ends up taking 90 for God's sakes. But this guy here, Lawrence, very athletic, has raw ability, can get to the quarterback, sure has to improve on some things. But I really like this pick by the Dallas Cowboys, guys. 2 really solid picks by the Cowboys, guys. Having him on one side, Gary on the other. You have Ezeraku as well. some really athletic players, guys. So the Micah Parsons trade is pretty much complete now. Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Malachi Lawrence, guys, is pretty much what was traded for Micah Parsons. Obviously, it's not the best, but it's not horrible either. To get a guy like Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive tackles, if you guys ask me, in the NFL right now. So Cowboys get these 3 players, end up trading Micah. Of course, the trade is basically complete now for that deal. We even saw Downs talking to Micah a little bit. Micah telling him that, the star, it's a big thing, really, really important. The pressure's on him and stuff. Just hope Caleb Downs doesn't take contract negotiation advice from Micah Parsons. Other than that, we should be good. But watching Malik Neighbors, sweating the way he did, seeing that the Cowboys drafted Downs, knowing how pissed a lot of teams are that he fell right on the lap of the Dallas Cowboys. It was a perfect night for us Cowboy fans, guys, getting 2 really productive defensive pieces to really help this Dallas Cowboys defense, guys. It can't get any worse for this Dallas Cowboys defense from what we witnessed this past season, of course, guys. So I really expect this defense to make some improvements, of course, with Christian Parker now at DC, a really bright young mind coming from Philadelphia as well. You clearly knew that he wanted Downs, wanted Lawrence as well, guys. I'm really excited to see what Christian Parker has in store for Downs and Lawrence as well. There's some reports early on that Jerry said they're going to play Downs in the nickel. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the Cowboys line up these 2 young players now. But 2 really solid first-round draft picks by the Dallas Cowboys, guys. We obviously know the news about George Pickens as well, signing his franchise tag. There was some speculation that the Cowboys might trade him, but the Cowboys squashed that rumors out quickly, saying that they really like George. Love what they've seen from him. They just want to see more from him before they give him a big contract. Listen, guys, we all know what the Dallas Cowboys offense is. We know how great that offense was last year. Dak had an MVP-type season. We need to see the same thing coming into this season. Hopefully some improvements on the defense. But the first night of the NFL draft was a big success for the Dallas Cowboys. And even the guys in our division as well did some really solid things. The Giants, like I mentioned, the Commanders drafting Sonny Styles, the Eagles drafting Lemon. So everybody had a really solid first day. Things are going to be very interesting on day 2 or 3 of the draft. This season is going to be very interesting as well, guys. With all these teams improving, with Harbaugh coming into New York, the Eagles being the Eagles, having their 4th offensive, coordinator, guys. That's going to be interesting to see how Hurts and this Lemon kid respond. Let's see how the Commanders respond this year with Styles and Daniels having an injury-riddled season. It's going to be a very interesting season for the NFC East, guys. But this was a perfect day for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what they do in the next couple days in the draft, guys. We'll love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the first draft day for the Cowboys. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions on how other teams did in the draft, guys. But a really solid day for the Dallas Cowboys, guys. Love that Caleb Downs is a Dallas Cowboy. One of the picks that I absolutely wanted the Cowboys to grab. And they fulfilled our wish today, guys, getting a really solid guy in Caleb Downs, guys. But thanks for watching, as always, guys. Like this video, subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Cowboys, go as always, guys. See you guys on the next episode of Cowboys Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.